listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast by Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb, Dr. Frederick J. Long, Dr. Mario Melendez, Dr. Jennifer Noonan, and J. M. Smith. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Proof Text. I am Michael Halcomb, and in this episode, I'm offering a Hebrew reading. Now, I want to remind you that reading is an important part of working towards language fluency, and particularly reading out loud. So I want to encourage you, read out loud, whether that's you listening to me and pausing it, you repeating after me, you just doing it however works for you, but make sure you read out loud. That's critical. All right, we've been reading for some time, just verse by verse, word by word, through the book of Jonah in Hebrew. And so today we're at Jonah 2:7, and I'll remind you again that the versification can get a little off at the end of Jonah 1 and the beginning of Jonah 2, so just pay attention to that. We're at Jonah 2:7, and what I like to do is look at the verse in full and read it out, try to just cold read it out loud, and then go word by word and then read it out loud in full one more time. So if you're watching, I'm going to put the Hebrew text up on the screen. You'll be able to see it. It's a bit of an advantage. If you're just listening, that's okay too. But of course, you won't be able to see the Hebrew text. So unless you have a Hebrew text with you. So here's Jonah 2:7, and I'm going to get to reading on this. Now, I'll also say this. My pronunciation is a little bit different in that I like to treat the alphas as as and the ayns as like guttural stops, and so I do pronounce those. And a lot of people will treat them as silent letters when they're teaching biblical Hebrew. I don't. I actually pronounce them as best I can, as often as I can. So here we go. All right, here's the first half of the verse. Just a cold read. Bahita atif, ale, nefeshi, at Yahweh, or at Adonai, zakarti. All right, that's cold read on the first half of the verse. Here's a cold read on the rest of the verse, the second half. All right. V tavoa aleka, te filati, al hikal kadeshka. All right, that was okay. Tripped a little bit there at one point, but let's look at each word in turn. So the first word is kind of the trickiest. It's this long, sprawling word. The first few letters look alike, and then you get a kind of odd combination at the end. So we have heat. Some would say heath, bahit, bahita. I like to pronounce my ayns. Then we have the patach under there. So bahita is how I'm going to do it. Bahita atef. Bahita atef. Bahita atef. That's how I'm going to say it. Bahita atef. Bahita atef. Bahita atef. All right. Bahita atef. And I will say this about that word, that some people, because they leave that ayin silent, might do something like, and then they treat the top here as a th. So bahith, they might hear something like that. Bahith atef, bahith atef. You might hear that, or bahita atef, and mine is bahita atef. All right, so let's go on to the next bit. So begins with the ayin with the comets under it. So that's a little challenging when the ayin starts the word. So ale, 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 ale. Then we have nafeshi, 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 nafeshi. Then we have at Yahweh, or at Adonai, at Yahweh, or at. And then we have zakarti, 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 zakarti. And then we have v tavoa, v tav o a. So you got the holim vav, v tavoa, v tavoa, Next we have Aleka. Aleka, excuse the cough. Aleka. And then next, looks kind of reminds me of the very first word, but we have the tefilati. Tefilati. Sounds like a Tongan or Tagalog Samoan word. El Hekal. El Hekal. El Hekal. Now, I will say when you have the aleph with like an E sound underneath it, if the people who treat the aleph as a silent letter are going to just pronounce the segol underneath there, so they'll do el. I like pronouncing the aleph, so al hikal. All right. Our next word that we have here is kadashka. Sorry, I missed that. Al hikal. And then finally, kadesh. Ooh, kadeshka. And here we go. We'll see the verse as a whole. All right. There's the first half. V, hit atef, v'hit atef, ale, nefeshi at Yahweh or at Adonai, zakarti. So one more time. V'hit atef, ale, nefeshi at Adonai, zakarti. All right, not too shabby. In the next bit, final half of the verse, v'tavoa aleka tefilati el hekal kadeshka. And there you go. Let's try that bit one more time. V'tavoa aleka tefilati el hekal kadeshka. All right, and that is Jonah 2:7 in Hebrew. So I'm going to stop there and say, I hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.